All right, we're going to get started. Tonight we have a special presentation by a gentleman who was in the class of 1962 in Bryan. He happens to be my cousin. His name is Fred Lamont, and he has a presentation on remembering Bryan, growing up in Bryan, and some of the things that we did that we probably don't remember. So, Fred Lamont from Phoenix, Arizona.
Thanks, Tom. You know, we all were blessed with something. Some of us with brains, some of us with beauty, some with athletic ability. In my case, it was a good memory. So let me take you back to a simpler time, what I call the sights and sounds of a simpler time, my remembrances of growing up in Bryan in the 1950s. First and foremost, I remember the town square and the fact that everything we needed was either on or near the town square. Just think of everything we had that we needed was there. We had 2 dime stores. We had Murphy's and Newberry's. We had 2 shoe stores, Burns and Holmes. We had 2 jewelry stores, Schatzer's and Shucks. We had 3 drugstores, Keen's, Sutter's, and Ringer's. We had 2 hardware stores. We had Carol Ames and Carla's, Tim's dad. We had 2 bakeries, Ramsey's and Taylor's. We had 2 men's clothing stores. We had Hawks and Russell's. We had 3 ladies' clothing stores. We had Charles Company, Davy Lee, and Ullman's. We had 4 banks, First National, Citizens, First Federal, and City Loan. We had 3 car dealers. We had Lindsay's, Christine's dad. We got GM cars. We had what used to be Donaldson's and became Melton's. We had Ford cars, and we had Kerr's where you could get Plymouth and Dodge. We had 3 old gas stations where you could buy gas for your car. We had Pure, we had Gulf, and we had Sinclair. We had 2 major grocery stores. We had Kroger and A&P. We had restaurants all around the square. We had the Old Ruth restaurant next to the gas company where Don Geyers and Bill Sprague and I used to work. We had what was Sheetz's, which became Ralph's, which became Kaufman's. Okay. We had Lamar's restaurant next to Hunefeld Furniture. Of course, we had Brownie's, our own answer to Wendy's before there even was a Wendy's. You could get hamburgers and fries and Frosty at Brownie's. Had the old dining car in front of Lindsay's. We had everything we needed. It was on the square. But you know, times change. It's interesting. Among other things, I'm a CPA, a certified public accountant. And when we grew up, if you needed a CPA, you had to go to Toledo. But you could buy a shirt in Bryan. Now today I walked around the square and I saw 3 CPA firms either on or near the square. So today, if you need a CPA, you go downtown, but if you need a shirt, you got to go to Toledo. But speaking of change, I remember Arrow, the big kahuna in town. Some of your parents worked there, some of your friends' parents worked there. At one point, Arrow had almost 2,000 employees. And they had the Arrow Beacon, the big water tower with the beacon on top that led you back into town when you came back at night. And the Arrow Beacon was the name of their own in-house publication. And Arrow had their own bowling league, and every Tuesday night they took over the entire Bryan lanes. And Bryan didn't have a 5 o'clock rush hour, but they had a 3:30 rush hour because that's when the first shift laid off at Arrow. Never thought we'd see the demise of Arrow. And I remember television. Remember that little tube in that great big box? And every night we had a different variety show. We had Arthur Godfrey and Red Skelton and Jackie Gleason and Ed Sullivan and Dinah Shore. And we had great dramas like Playhouse 90 and Dr. Kildare and Ben Casey. We had quiz shows like Truth or Consequences and Name That Tune. We had great cop shows like Dragnet and Highway Patrol and Racket Squad. Westerns, we had Gunsmoke and Have Gun Will Travel and Rawhide and about 24 others. But my favorite all-time TV was Saturday morning TV. Remember when you were really young, when you turned on the TV before 8:30, you got what? You got the test pattern. Come to think of it, it was better than most of the TV on today. But then, you got Mr. Wizard, and you got Roy Rogers, and you got Commander Cody, and Tales of Texas Rangers, and Sky King, and Captain Midnight. At 12 o'clock, you got the SEAL Test Big Top with Ed McMahon as the ringmaster. And at 1 o'clock, you got Rocky Jones, Space Ranger. Except I never got to see the end of Rocky Jones, Space Ranger, because about 10 after 1, I had to dash out of the house and go where? To the Bryan Theater. Because at 1:30 for 10 cents, that went to 12 cents, which went to 25 cents, you got a great afternoon's entertainment. But that still left you enough money to buy some Juji Fruits or Red Vines or Chuckles or Dots or Junior Mints. And what'd you get for your price of admission? Well, we got 3 cartoons, previews, one of those cliffhanger serials where you had to come back next week to see if the hero really fell off a cliff. And you got a double feature. First one was usually a Western, and the second one is either usually a spook movie, usually starring Vincent Price, or a sci-fi movie like Earth versus the Flying Saucers, or The Day the Earth Stood Still, or a creature movie like Godzilla or The Creature from the Black Lagoon. In fact, it seemed like back in those days we even had a thing about creatures. We even had songs about them. Remember this one by Sheb Wooley? It was a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. Pigeon-toed, undergrowth, flying purple people eater. He wears short swords, flying purple people eater. What a sight to see. Oh, hey, I forgot. My gosh, it's time to go to school. So let's take you to September of 1950. And you're all going to go to kindergarten. The old high school annex on West Butler. And some of you went in the morning, some of you went in the afternoon. And then at the end of the year, you moved up. You didn't graduate like they do today. You just moved up. And where'd you move up? They moved you down the street to the old park school, and you spent first grade. And then after that, the next year, they split you up. And some of you on the east side went to Lincoln. On the west side, you went to Washington. And you spent the next several years. So we got through second, third, fourth. Now, when we got to fifth grade, the boys got a special treat. They got to be patrol boys. Remember with the white belt and the badge, and you got to stand on the street corner and help the little boys and girls get across the street so they didn't get hit by a truck or a bus. And then in the sixth grade, it got even better. Because in sixth grade, you got to pick your own leaders of the patrol boys. You got to pick your own captain. Now, captain didn't have to stand on a street corner and watch the little kids get across. The captain just had to get on his bike and ride around town and look cool. So you guys picked Tom Sprout for that job. And then also in sixth grade, deja vu, they moved you back to the old high school annex again, where you started in kindergarten, where you spent 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Now let's face it, you folks were a handful at that age, but I think the school board knew what they were doing, because if you think about it, they had you boarded by the Presbyterian Church, the Methodist Church, the police department, and the fire department. Now, 7th grade, the boys got another treat again. They learned a whole new skill. They got to go to industrial arts, or as we called it, shop, taught by Lamar Connect and Lewis Kaler, who's here tonight. Y'all remember what your 7th grade project was? Letter holder. Anybody got their letter holder? It's not a given. It's not a given. I'm not giving it away. It wasn't pretty, but it was functional. It worked. Okay, in the 8th grade, though, it got more complicated. We got to the advanced stage. Remember what the project was in 8th grade? Anybody remember? Remember wastebasket. Remember with the wooden slats and the metal pins at the bottom and the leather strap around top? 55 plus years later, there it is. Okay, so now let's take you up to September 1959. and you're going to go into the new high school down the street. And as freshmen, you were the new kids in school. Here's what Janet Dean had to say about the new girl in school. Papa do run, day run, day, do run, day run, day, do run, day run, day, do. I got a bat for the new girl in school. The guys are flipping, but I'm playing it cool. Everybody's passing notes in class. They really dig her, now she's such a gas. Oh, Papa do run, day run, day, do. The chicks are jealous of the new girl in school. They put her down and they treat her so cruel. But the guys are going out of their mind, 'cause she's the finest chick you'll ever find. Oh, Papa do run, day run, day run. It won't be long till we're having a ball. We'll walk and talk and we'll hold hands in the hall. Don't know how I made it through this year. Sure was a drag till she transferred here. A Papa do run, day. Oh, 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 do run, day. Oh, 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 do run, day. I got a bad Papa do run, day. With a new girl in school. Ooh, I got a lot to do run, day, do. Kind of hard to do Janet Dean both at the same time. And that new school was so big, and you were such a small class. You only had 110. But you know it was good for the teacher's sake that you were a small class, because otherwise they would have spent half of each class period just taking attendance. First they had to figure out how to pronounce your names. I mean, you didn't have any Smiths or Jones in your class. No, you had Dodge-Steiners and Humbargers and Leibenspargers and Schindeldeckers and Schwarzengravers. And then they had to figure out what to call you. I mean, you had all those guys with the reversible names. I mean, was it Daniel Dean or Dean Daniel? You know, was it Lee Mack or Mac Lee? Was it Warren Eddie or Eddie Warren? Was it Willis Dick or Dick Willis? But you know, we had some great teachers, if you think about it. We had Claude Houston for math. We had Paul Webster for biology. Jim Aston for chemistry and physics. Had Miss Max for Latin. Actually, her first name was Ruth, but we just knew her as Miss Max. And who can forget Bob Johnson, Jeff's dad? Remember Bob for world history? Remember Bob always had those real skinny ties, always cinched up so tight, looked like he was going to choke at any moment. And he always had a pocket full of pencils to support the yearbook. Remember? And speaking of the yearbook, we had Mabel Robrock, who did all the thespian activities and was the advisor to the yearbook. And every Sunday afternoon and Monday evening of their senior year, Jonelle and Larry and some of you others spent at Mabel's house working on the yearbook. Yeah. And we had Dudley Ebersol and Ray Sumter for all the athletic activities, and the Hartmans and the Dalleys in June. Dally Webster's here tonight. Great musical activities. We had Tom Sopay for art. But you know, we had one class that we learned a skill, we learned it well, and we still use it today. It wasn't even a college prep course. I'm talking about Marion Meyer and typing. Remember ASDF, JKL, semicolon? Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. Yeah, school was great. But let's face it, what we really look forward to was Memorial Day, because that meant we get to get out of school for the summer and have some summertime fun. This is what Janet Dean had to say about summertime fun, with slightly revised lyrics. Swimming every day at Moore Park, neath the warm Ohio sun. No more books, no more homework to do now. Summer means fun, summer means fun, summer means fun. Drive-in movies every night, staying out till 1:30. Sleeping in late and living right now. Summer means fun, summer means fun, summer means fun. Come on, everybody, grab your baggies and bikinis now. The party has just begun. We're gonna have a ball now till the fall, yeah. Summer means fun, summer means fun, summer means fun. You know, and summer was fun. I mean, think about it. When we were really young, we'd get up in the morning, go to Garver Park. We might do some crafts. We might play morning league baseball. We might want to get into one of those ping pong tournaments out of the old stadium. We might want to fight over that one tennis court out there. In the afternoon, on most days, we'd go out to Moore Park and swim. In the evenings, once we got older and had access to a car, we might go out to the Hub Drive-In Theater and have some nighttime entertainment. And of course, we had the Bryan Jubilee. The big deal then, still a big deal now. But you know, summer wasn't all fun. I mean, we had chores and duties to do at home. I mean, our parents saw to that. Here's what the coasters had to say about that. Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak, don't talk back. Just finish cleaning up your room. Let's see that dust fly with that broom. Get all that garbage out of sight. Or you don't go out Friday night, yakety yak, don't talk back. Just put on your coat and hat and walk yourself to the laundromat. And when you finish doing that, bring in the dog and put out the cat. Yakety yak, don't talk back. But you know, like the good little boys and girls that we were, we did our chores. We took care of business. So as a result, we got to put on our coat and hat. We got to go out on Friday night. And we got to rock and roll some more. Well, where do we go to rock and roll some more? Well, Danny and the juniors told us where to go. Well, you can rock and you can roll. Do the slop or even the stroll at the hop. When the record starts spinning, you calypso when you chicken at the hop. Do the dance sensation that's sweeping the nation at the hop. You can swing and you can move it, you really start to groove it at the hop. Where the jockeys are the smoothest and the records are the coolest at the hop. All the cats and chicks can get their kicks at the hop. Let's go to the hop. Let's go to the hop, oh baby, let's go to the hop, oh baby, let's go to the hop. Come on, let's go to the hop, let's go. Ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, at the hop. And what did we do at the hop? Think of all the great dances we learned. We learned the slop and the stroll and the holly-gully and the limbo and the jerk and the pony. I mean, we didn't need to go to the athletic club for exercise. We got everything we needed right at the record hop. Anybody remember this one? Hand jive, hand jive, hand jive. Doing that crazy hand jive. And we didn't have to just go to Bryan for record hop. I mean, we could go to, if we had a car, we could go to Hamilton Lake, or we could even go to the old roller rink in Montpelier. Montpelier? You mean that mean and nasty place? Or so as we'd been told? Come to find out, they had girls in Montpelier. In fact, they had good-looking girls in Montpelier. I know for a fact some of you guys dated them. Yeah. But of all the dances we learned, there was one that swept the nation by storm during that period. It was popularized by a young gentleman by the name of Ernest Evans. Except we knew him by his stage name, Chubby Checker. Yeah, talking about the twist. We had twist contests all over the area. I'm sure some of you took part in them. But you know, there was another aspect of growing up in that era that a lot of us experienced. Talking about summertime teenage romance. You know those little affairs that started out sometimes with so much hope and promise, a lot of times just ended up with misery and despair. Fort Preps described it this way in 1959. I was a big man yesterday, but boy, you want to see me now. Well, I talked big yesterday, but boy, you want to see me now. I bragged too long that your love was strong, there'd never be another guy. But you said more when you whispered your goodbye. If you will just forgive me, dear, I'll never break another vow. I broke so many yesterday, but boy, you want to see me now. I couldn't see it yesterday, but now I know it's true. The only thing that made me big was you. I was a big man yesterday, but boy, you want to see me now. If you could only see me now, if you would only see me now. Oh, bummer. Shot down again. Well, at least I got my class ring back. And look at that class ring. Bryan High School, class of 1963. You know, we've all gone off in different ways and different directions and done different things in our lives. But this is the tie that binds us together, our school. Not just our school, but the pride we have in our school. I think the Beach Boys said it best. When some loud bragger tries to put me down and says his school is great, I tell him right away, now what's the matter, buddy? Ain't you heard of my school? It's a #1 in the state. So be true to your school now, just like you would to your girl, guys. Be true to your school now, and let your colors fly. Be true to your school. I got a Letterman sweater with a letter in front. I got for football and track. I'm proud to wear it now when I cruise around the other parts of the town. I got my decal in back. So be true to your school now, just like you would to your girl, guys. Be true to your school now, and let your colors fly. Be true to your school. On Friday we'll be jacked up for the football game, and we'll be ready to fight. We're gonna smash it now. My girl will be working on her pom-poms now, and she'll be yelling tonight. So be true to your school now, just like you would to your girl, guys. Be true to your school now, and let your colors fly. Be true to your school. Rah, 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 sis boom ba. Rah, 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 sis boom ba. Rah, 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 sis boom ba. All right. Now who's ready to go out and beat the crap out of Montpelier? And our varsity cheerleaders, Margie Minnery and Diane Mexroth, couldn't be with us. So please give it up for our honorary cheerleader, Rita Roars. And also a special thanks to Judy Taylor for playing her part, her totally unrehearsed part in our little love story. Give it up for Judy. Well, this little nostalgic trip down memory lane has come to an end. So I'd just like to leave you with a couple things. First, a couple words from Bob Seger. We were 18, didn't have a care, working for peanuts, not a dime to spare, but we were lean and solid everywhere, like a rock. 50 years now, where'd they go? 50 years. I don't know. I sit and wonder sometimes where they've gone. And as Archie Bunker would say, those were the days. So I'll close with some thoughts from one of our favorite all-time groups of the 1950s, Roy and Dale Trigger and Bullet. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Happy trails.
Let's hear it for Fred. Thanks, Fred.